My mother-in-law secretly replaced my birth control pills with vitamins, then announced my pregnancy at a family dinner. I, 28F, still can't believe I'm writing this, but I need to get it off my chest and maybe get some advice because I'm completely lost right now. My husband and I have been married for 3 years, and while we've always wanted kids eventually, we agreed to wait until we're both more established in our careers. I'm in my final year of medical residency and the timing just isn't right. Everything was fine until my mother-in-law started staying with us last month after she had minor surgery. She kept making these passive-aggressive comments about how I'm not getting any younger, and how she deserves grandchildren while she's still young enough to enjoy them. I mostly brushed it off. You know how mother-in-laws can be, right? Last week, I started feeling unusually nauseous and dizzy. At first, I thought it was just stress from my 80-hour work weeks, but something felt off. Then yesterday, during our monthly family dinner at my in-laws' house, my mother-in-law stood up with this huge smile and clinked her glass for attention. My stomach dropped before she even opened her mouth. "I have wonderful news," she announced to everyone. "We're finally going to have a baby in the family. My darling daughter-in-law is pregnant." The room erupted in congratulations while I sat there frozen. My husband squeezed my hand under the table, looking just as confused as I felt. I hadn't taken any pregnancy tests, and I knew for a fact that I'd been taking my birth control religiously, or so I thought. When I got home that night, I immediately checked my birth control pills. They looked normal at first glance, but when I examined them more closely, something was different. The shape was slightly off, and when I broke one in half, it wasn't the same color inside as my usual pills. My hands were shaking as I dug through our bathroom trash. There, wrapped in tissue paper, I found my real birth control pack, empty, but with 2 weeks of pills still marked on the calendar. In its place in my medicine cabinet had been carefully arranged vitamin tablets, cut and shaped to look nearly identical to my birth control. I confronted my mother-in-law this morning. She didn't even try to deny it. Instead, she smiled that same smug smile from the dinner and said, "Sometimes young couples need a little push. You'll thank me when you're holding your baby." I'm shaking just typing this. I took a pregnancy test this afternoon. It was positive. My husband is furious, but his anger is directed at his mother, not me. Still, I can feel this wedge being driven between us. He keeps saying we'll figure it out. But how do you figure out something like this? His mother literally violated my body, my choice, my future. The worst part, some of his family members are actually defending her. They're saying she just wanted what's best for the family, and that I'm overreacting because you wanted kids eventually anyway. My sister-in-law even had the nerve to tell me I should be grateful because some women can't get pregnant at all. I've already made an appointment with my doctor to discuss my options, but I'm terrified about what this means for my marriage, my career, and my relationship with my husband's family. My husband says he'll support whatever decision I make, but I can see how torn he is between standing by me and dealing with the pressure from his family. Right now, I'm sitting in our guest room, trying to process everything. My mother-in-law keeps sending me links to baby clothes and nursery ideas like nothing is wrong. My phone is blowing up with messages from family members either congratulating me or telling me to calm down and be reasonable. How am I supposed to handle this? We're talking about a premeditated effort to force a pregnancy on me. She went through my personal belongings, tampered with my medication, and then announced my pregnancy to everyone without my knowledge or consent. I feel violated, betrayed, and completely lost. My husband suggested we take legal action, but I'm worried that would permanently destroy our relationship with his family. Then again, maybe that relationship is already destroyed. I don't know if I can ever look at my mother-in-law again without feeling sick to my stomach. Update. Things have gotten so much worse since my last post. First, thank you all for your supportive comments and messages. I've read every single one, and they've helped me feel less crazy about this whole situation. I had my doctor's appointment yesterday. When I explained what happened, she was horrified and immediately documented everything. She said what my mother-in-law did wasn't just morally wrong. It's legally considered reproductive coercion and medication tampering, both serious crimes. She also ran some tests, and yes, I'm definitely pregnant, about 4 weeks along. After the appointment, my husband and I had a long talk. We agreed to file a police report, which we did this morning. The officer seemed skeptical at first, but when we showed him the tampered pills, the original package from the trash, and the texts from my mother-in-law essentially admitting what she did, his whole demeanor changed. Here's where everything exploded. Someone, we suspect my sister-in-law, tipped off my mother-in-law about the police report. She showed up at our house, hysterical, right as the police were leaving. She started screaming about how I was trying to destroy the family, and that she was just trying to help. My husband tried to calm her down, but she wouldn't listen. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. I had to do it. You two were being selfish. Do you know how many women pray for a baby? I prayed every night, and God told me this was the right thing to do. My husband finally snapped. He told her to leave and not contact us again until she gets professional help. She refused to go, so we had to call the police back. As they were escorting her out, she was crying and telling all the neighbors how her ungrateful children were having her arrested for loving them too much. The aftermath has been a nightmare. My husband's family is completely divided. His older sister called to say she's cutting contact with us for choosing legal action over family. His younger brother, however, confided that their mother did something similar to his wife 2 years ago, tampering with her fertility treatments to delay their pregnancy because she thought they weren't ready. They never told anyone because they were afraid of causing family drama. My residency program director has been surprisingly understanding. She's helping me arrange my schedule to accommodate whatever decision I make about the pregnancy. My husband is being supportive, but I can see how much this is hurting him. Last night, I found him crying in our home office, looking at old family photos. The hardest part is dealing with the constant pressure from everyone to just move forward and focus on the baby. They don't understand that every time I think about this pregnancy, all I can feel is violation and betrayal. My mother-in-law didn't just tamper with my medication. She stole my choice, my autonomy, and my trust. My own parents are furious. My dad, who's usually the calmest person I know, wanted to drive 6 hours to confront my mother-in-law himself. I had to talk him down, explaining that we're handling it legally. My mom has been crying, blaming herself for not warning me about how obsessed my mother-in-law seemed with the topic of grandchildren. The police called this afternoon. They're taking the case seriously, especially after my brother-in-law came forward about the previous incident. They're building a case for criminal charges, and our lawyer says we have a strong civil case too. My mother-in-law's friends from church have started a prayer circle for us, sending constant messages about how forgiveness is divine and how every baby is a blessing. Some have even suggested that pressing charges is traumatizing our unborn child with negative energy. My husband just showed me a text from his aunt, saying she's planning an intervention with the whole family to help us see reason before we do something we'll regret. Apparently, they're all gathering at his parents' house this weekend to discuss the situation. We're not going, obviously, but the thought of them all sitting there, discussing our private medical decisions and judging us, makes me feel physically ill. Final update, it's been 2 months since my last post, and I wanted to share how everything turned out. So much has happened, and I'm still processing it all. First, the legal situation. My mother-in-law was arrested and charged with medication tampering and reproductive coercion. She initially pleaded not guilty, but after my brother-in-law and his wife came forward with detailed testimony about their experience, she accepted a plea deal. She's now under court-ordered psychiatric evaluation and will serve 6 months of house arrest followed by 3 years of probation. She's also legally barred from contacting us. The family intervention they planned turned into a complete disaster. We didn't attend, but my husband's cousin recorded it all and sent it to us. It was basically 2 hours of people either defending my mother-in-law or attacking us for pressing charges. The surprising twist came when my brother-in-law stood up and revealed his story to everyone. The room went silent. Several family members left in tears, finally understanding the pattern of manipulation they'd been enabling. As for the pregnancy, after a lot of soul-searching and long discussions with my husband, I made my decision. I'm not going to share what that decision was because it's deeply personal, and frankly, it's nobody's business but ours. What matters is that my husband stood by me completely, saying that while his mother had tried to rob me of my choice, he would never do the same. The family is still fractured. My sister-in-law hasn't spoken to us since the arrest, but several cousins who initially sided with my mother-in-law have reached out to apologize. They admitted they were so caught up in the idea of family loyalty that they lost sight of the actual crime that was committed. My husband started therapy to process everything. Last session, he said something that really stuck with me. I always thought family meant supporting each other no matter what. Now I realize that sometimes supporting someone means holding them accountable when they're wrong. We moved out of our old house last week. Too many bad memories, and we didn't feel safe there anymore, knowing how easily someone could invade our privacy. Our new place is in a different neighborhood, with a security system and cameras. It might seem paranoid to some, but peace of mind is priceless right now. My residency program has been incredible throughout all of this. They connected me with resources I didn't even know existed and adjusted my schedule without making me feel like a burden. My fellow residents have formed an amazing support network, covering shifts when I needed time for court dates or therapy appointments. The most unexpected development came from my brother-in-law's revelation. 3 other women from local church groups came forward with similar stories about my mother-in-law interfering with their birth control or fertility treatments over the years. She apparently saw herself as some kind of divine instrument, helping God correct people's family planning choices. The prosecutor is using these testimonies to push for mandatory psychiatric treatment as part of her sentence. My husband's father finally broke his silence last week. He sent us a long email apologizing for not seeing the signs earlier, and for initially trying to minimize what happened. He's filed for divorce and is getting counseling himself. It's sad, but there's something admirable about someone choosing to face hard truths, even at his age. Some family members are still pressuring us to forgive and forget before my mother-in-law's sentencing next month. They keep saying things like she's learned her lesson and family should come first. But we've learned that real family respects boundaries and choices. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do for a family is maintain firm boundaries, even when it hurts. I'm not sure what the future holds for us. The trust issues don't just disappear, and I still have moments of anger and fear. But I'm proud of how my husband and I have handled this together, and I'm grateful for the people who've shown up for us in unexpected ways. To everyone who supported me through my previous posts, thank you. You helped me feel less alone during the darkest moments of this nightmare. Sometimes it takes strangers on the internet to remind you that you're not crazy for expecting basic respect and bodily autonomy. If anyone else is experiencing reproductive coercion, whether from family, partners, or anyone else, please know that you're not alone. It's a crime, and you deserve support. Don't let anyone convince you that family means accepting abuse.